See, if you take actions based on the ego, on our habit of separate being, you then reinforce your separate self. You will reinforce your illusion, your delusion, your hopes, your expectations, your dissatisfactions, and your complaints. The more you complain, the more you're inclined to complain. The more you feel angry, the more angry you become. The more resentment you experience, the more resentment you have. So the more times we take action aligned with our separative self, the more we reinforce those qualities in ourself. And of course, on the spiritual path, the more times we do that, the more we suffer. The habit of the separative ego is very powerful. It pervades this entire dimension. To break out of this takes more than just a few practices over a few years. It takes a fully dedicated life to come out of it. So what happens is the times we start taking action aligned with our radar, with our discrimination, with the recognitions that we have, the more we become that which we're seeking. And the less we become that which we've been, to our bondage, to our separative self. And we start getting, the actions are the key. To know this, to understand this is one thing. But it's when you take actions based on it that it becomes more real for you. Action is how you bring forward the truth of who you are in your life. So when you start meditating, when you start doing serious spiritual practice, when you pull away from the habits of your exterior egoic life, you begin to feel more and more the connection. You suffer less and less the separation and the bondage. Actions based on truth always lead you to truth. Actions based on falsehood always lead you to falsehood. And because of the habit of falsehood, it doesn't take much action to forget truth, to lose the ability to experience the oneness. That's why we have to develop new habits that are aligned with truth and love, that takes us out beyond ourselves. So every one of you who are here have taken actions in your life to bring you to this moment. Your actions have taken you to a point where you are able to hear, to the extent you can, something of the nature of what it is you're seeking. I'm not the only person. There are many who can be doing this. But I want to acknowledge the fact that for you to be here, you had to take actions other than what your ego would normally do. Now maybe your ego is cooperative. Some people's egos are cooperative. They'll come to India because it's an adventure. It's romantic. It's interesting. So you come here with what I call spiritual tourism. Oh good, let's see all the temples and meet all the sadhus and go to all the sacred places and feel that kind of woozy-wuzzy kind of feeling that you get when you're in that higher energy. But that's okay, because it's an interim information. It gives you some sense of it. But any one of those situations may have been a situation that could have taken you further. But when you're new at this, you don't know this is the one that could do it, and this is the one that can't do it. Because your antenna isn't developed enough, and because your actions have not been aligned enough with your seeking to have that kind of integrity that allows you to see, the kind of sincerity to allow you to see that this is it. This is what I want to commit myself to. This is what I want to know. This is really the thing that soothes the anguish of my soul, not just the curiosity or the fulfillment of my mind or my vital nature. See, many people on the spiritual path confuse their vital nature with their spiritual nature. You know, the emotion, the powerful feeling, the attraction. They think that's spirit. They call it the soul, but it's not. That is something of our human nature, the emotional, energetic portion of our nature that makes things seem more real than our mental nature, which just thinks about things. So you can think about India, but coming to India becomes a vital experience. But this is not truth either. It's just a more portion of the mind that's more aligned with the body. It's closer to truth in some ways, because when you live in your mind all the time, you don't know what you're feeling. If you've habituated yourself to analyzing and thinking and making symbols of existence, then you don't even know how to live in this existence as a body. So maybe part of what has to happen is you have to experience that vital experience before you begin to say, oh, these experiences, these moments of bliss, these moments of happiness, these thrilling moments, they come and go. They don't last. Or when they go, I feel worse. So you begin to say, well, this can't be real. This can't be the truth of who I am, because it comes and goes, it comes and goes. I'm looking for something that comes and grows. I'm looking for something that lasts, that proves itself over time. The Bhagavad Gita says this in the very introductory chapter. It says, untruth does not exist. All there is truth. All there is truth. Untruth doesn't exist. So when untruth doesn't exist, it means it comes and goes and comes and goes. But when truth exists, it comes and stays. When you find who it is that you are in reality, it comes and grows and grows and grows and grows until it can stay. It's not an experience that comes and goes. It's a reality of who you are and what is and what's so, that grows and grows and grows and then does not leave you. Is not dependent on what you're thinking. It's not dependent on what you're feeling. It's not dependent on your mood or your situations or your thoughts at the moment. It is the very nature of who you are in all moments, in all situations. That's what you're seeking. Truth is unchanging. It's imperishable. Everything else can be destroyed, but truth is what would remain. So what is this truth? What is the nature of this truth? That is for you to find out. I can say in my experience that at first I thought it was bliss. I thought it was this wonderful bliss of being loved by the universe. I thought it was the thrilling experiences that were happening to me when I would travel into these subtle planes of existence. I thought it was all the information. That's what I thought was the spiritual path. So for me, for years and years, I thought it was these experiences. And all I wanted to do was just have those experiences happen so often that eventually they became permanent. But that isn't what happens. Experiences comes and goes. Understandings come and go. We remember and then we forget. We remember and then we forget. Why? Because we haven't yet come to who does the remembering and who does the forgetting. What in us remembers, what in us forgets, what in us experiences the high, what in us experiences the low. That is who we are. That's the continuity of who we are. And when you meet that state, when that state comes to you, the fulfillment's absolute. There is nothing missing.